Well, it's been over a week since we got the order to shelter at home. And I don't know about you, but I am getting kind of antsy, wanting to go somewhere, to do something, to take a trip. And yet, out of an abundance of caution and to protect ourselves and others, we are told to stay at home. And so I thought what we would do instead would be to take a journey of our imagination. I want to use as the basis of this journey the gospel story of the raising of Lazarus. There is a married couple here in San Luis Obispo named Brock and Bodie Thoene, and they are a very accomplished set of authors. They've written over 60 historical novels and sold over 35 million books. And they are masters at taking a Bible story or a character and weaving it into a compelling narrative. And they have done that with the story of the raising of Lazarus, called When Jesus Wept. I'd like to read for you today an excerpt from this book as a kind of a meditation for us on this fifth Sunday of Lent. But before I do, I'd like to set it up. Remember that Jesus and Mary and Martha and Lazarus were friends. Jesus would stay at their house in Bethany, not far from Jerusalem. And at a certain point in time, Jesus was off with his disciples, away from Bethany, and he gets word from Mary and Martha that Lazarus is deathly ill. Now, Mary and Martha would have expected that Jesus would have dropped everything to come to the bedside of his friend Lazarus and to touch him and cure him. But he doesn't do that. Or maybe they thought that he would have stayed, but remotely, using his power, he would have commanded him to be well. But he doesn't do that either. Instead, Jesus stays put and waits for Lazarus to die. And only then, after Lazarus has been in the grave for 4 days, does Jesus come to their home in Bethany. Our story picks up where Jesus is arriving to find Mary and Martha inconsolable, and he is standing in front of the tomb of Lazarus, and he himself is weeping. We, as the reader, we are inside the tomb of Lazarus, and we are able to hear the consciousness of Lazarus. Before he called me forth from the grave, Jesus wept. His was not the loud, frantic keening of the women who mourned outside my tomb. His was a sigh and a groan and a single salty tear. It was at first almost imperceptible, even to those standing closest to him. Jesus groaned, and the heads of angels and saints turned to look down upon the earth in wonder. My eternal companions and I listened. We heard his voice echo from Bethany across the universe. He commanded, "Roll away the stone." We all waited in anticipation for the next word from his lips. And then he spoke my name, Lazarus. Surely he could not mean me, I thought. But all the same, I whispered, "Here I am, Lord." Centuries have come and gone since his holy sob ripped me loose from timeless conversation with the ageless ones. 10,000 scholars and saints have asked why. What made the King of Heaven bow his head and cover his eyes and spill holy tears onto the earth? Why? Why did Jesus weep? When Jesus called my name, it echoed in my head. His voice raised a shiver along my spine. Rolling my body, I bumped futilely against a stone wall. The opening to the niche in which my corpse had been placed was on the other side of the slab, it felt as if Mary and Martha had enclosed 100 weight of spices in the grave clothes. I could barely move. Lunging, I almost fell to the ground. My legs hit stiffly, propping me up only because they were tightly bound together. From which direction had Jesus' voice come? Turning toward the memory of his call, I shuffled forward. I heard shrieking cries, "Mary, Martha." Then I heard Jesus again. "Take off the grave clothes and let him go." Faster now. I moved toward his voice and re-entered the world of men. I don't know why Jesus wept. I don't know why he wept when he knew he had the power and was going to raise his friend Lazarus from the dead. Maybe it was because Mary and Martha were inconsolable. Or perhaps it was because his heart was broken, having to delay doing something for Lazarus so that the greater glory of God the Father could be revealed. Or maybe he was weeping for us, weeping with us, because we, like Mary and Martha, we too have to suffer delay when we know that our God, with a single command, could wipe away all pain and suffering, and yet he delays. And we must deal with all of the virus, the plague, the disappointment, the tyranny, the wars, the rumors of wars, and death itself. But brothers and sisters, know this. And this is the promise of the raising of Lazarus for us, that one day soon, our tears will end. And we will hear the voice of the Lord our God call to us from the grave to come out. And in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, we shall be raised up. Our mortal bodies shall be glorified and will join our souls with the hosts of the angels and the saints, and we will be praising our Lord in the new heaven and the new earth forever. A time will come when you least expect it, when the voice of the Lord will call to you. Be ready and listen for him to say to you, "Come out, get up, and rise."